Greetings to all of you that are gathered here tonight to pay special tribute to one of the most special people in the history of the Viking Village family, Mr. Tim Robertson. I really regret that I'm unable to be here with you this evening, but my CBS employers mandated, actually required, that I be in Lexington, Kentucky earlier today to cover some basketball game there involving two programs that you're probably familiar with, North Carolina and Kentucky. But nonetheless, that being said, I'm extremely thankful and grateful for the privilege to have an opportunity in a long distance fashion to participate in what I know is going to be a really special and memorable evening. You know, as you think about honoring the life and legacy of Tim Robertson, I think about him as a father, as a husband, as a grandfather, as a teacher, as a mentor, as a friend, as a loyal and advocate of St. Joseph High School, Villa Angela St. Joseph as we know it now. I can't think of a person more deserving of the honor that's going to be bestowed upon him this evening. I go back to my time as a student in the late 70s at Villa Angela St. Joseph High School and enjoying Mr. Robertson as a teacher, enjoying him as a huge sports fan, but particularly a huge basketball fan. And for all that he did in his service to his family, to his colleagues, to his students, the service he provided to our school and to the community around our school, what I cherish and remember most about Mr. Robertson are a couple of qualities that I consider to be great gifts that he left for all of us. His humor, his joy, and his passion. I think about Mr. Robertson having a tremendous amount of joy and passion for teaching and for seeing his students grow and learn. It wasn't just enough for him to provide the information. He had to make sure that we got it, and then the celebration would be mutual. The student would enjoy the celebration, as would Mr. Robertson. His humor was impeccable. The timing of some of his wry, dry-witted statements, the little smirk that he would give when he knew he had zinged you with a subtle zinger. But I think those things are just remarkable gifts that he left with us, that humor, that joy, that passion. And it was in everything that he did, no matter what hat he was wearing, no matter what role he was playing. I can't honestly recall ever seeing him mad or angry, upset, disappointed, perhaps, and I'm sure probably Georgianne and Jeff and Kevin and Tim and Melanie probably have evidence of him blowing his gasket on occasion, but he always seemed to have humor right next to whatever other emotion that he might be feeling at the time, and that typically would override whatever his disappointment was. But I really admired and appreciated that about Mr. Robertson, even more so as I'm now half 100, as I like to say, having just hit my 50th birthday back in July and being the father of 3 kids myself. The appreciation I have for all that Mr. Robertson stood for and represented and did, not just for me, but for all of the students and folks that he had a chance to interact with, is really one of my greatest joys and blessings. So on a night when he's being honored, I really, really feel good about having a chance to participate in this special ceremony in this manner. I want to just close with a few other comments. When you consider that the way Mr. Robertson's life and legacy is being memorialized with his name going on to the court, I don't think there's a greater honor that anyone could have than that. I enjoyed that honor personally myself after graduating from St. Joe's, upon graduating back in 1979, and there have been so many people that are part of the Viking Village family that I am forever indebted to for their impact and influence in my life in such a positive way. And I can't even begin to list all of the folks by name. But if somebody forced me to come up with a list, Mr. Robertson's name would be at the very top of that list. Again, for his joy, his humor, his passion, and the way he went about doing his work for well over 40 years. Serving his community, his family, and the student body at Villa Angela St. Joe's. I know he's dearly missed, and For his family, I would just like to extend my condolences. And also, I would pray that tonight's ceremony, tonight's honor, would really be a source of real blessing and comfort and joy and peace for all of you as you move forward in the days that will certainly be difficult as you move forward and continue to work through the loss of one of our favorite men in the history of Villa Angela St. Joseph High School. With that, I would simply like to say thanks for giving me this chance to pay my respects and tribute to Mr. Robertson, and I look forward to gracing the floor of the Purple Palace and seeing Mr. Robertson's name etched there forever. Not just his name, but everything that he stood for and represented. And I trust that tonight will be a cause for celebration and rejoicing. And I know there's a basketball game to be played too. Handle your business, Vikings, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.